Hello and welcome to my channel, From Fertility to Delivery. This is Dana, and today I want to talk about a big buzzword that you were hearing a lot, sovereignty. And bringing sovereignty into the conception, fertility, pregnancy, and childbirth aspects of your life. Now, what does sovereignty really mean? When I was growing up in my early and late 20s, I was living on my own in my own condo that I bought as a homeowner in my 20s. So it was pretty interesting, but it was a condo, so I did have some help. But in the end, everything was really up to me. And I found a phrase that really helped me. It was, "It's up to me, it's my responsibility." And I actually put it on my mirror in my bathroom, and I saw it every day. And it reminded me that pretty much everything is my responsibility, and I got to get things done. And what does responsibility really break down to? It's you responding to your abilities. What type of abilities do you have? Are you a go-getter? Are you calm? Are you patient? Are you kind? Are you aggressive and assertive? What type of abilities do you have that give you the responsibility that you need in your work life, your home life, and all of those aspects? Now let's bring that into conception, fertility, pregnancy, and childbirth. So conception and fertility, it's your responsibility. What can you do to make the conception and fertility aspects of your parenthood journey a success? What do you have control over? What is your responsibility, and how are you sovereign? Well, your diet and the amount of minerals that you're putting into your body. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, but I do know that having enough minerals to create an actual human in your body is very important. So doing your research, most of the time it's as easy as prenatal vitamins and folic acid, but speaking with your healthcare professional based off of what you lack and what you need in your body, that's really important. Stress level, and the ability to do a lot of self-care and relaxation. Now, you may have a beautiful, wonderful partner that can help you with that. They can draw a salt bath for you, that can massage your feet, that can give you a massage. But when all is said and done, you have to make the decision to either sit on the couch and watch TV for an hour, or give yourself a pedicure, or give yourself a salt bath, or meditate. And which one's going to be more beneficial for your stress level? I know it feels good sometimes to sit as a couch potato in front of the TV. But at some point, you have to make a decision to do something that is actually going to clear your mind instead of program it. Now, moving on to the actual pregnancy. The sovereignty aspect of that is, again, creating that wholesome environment for the baby to grow into. Continuing to stay flexible, staying in alignment with the spirit baby, and, co-creating a beautiful experience, giving yourself the tools that you need in order to have a very pleasant pregnancy. Some pregnancies are not pleasant. There's a lot of sickness in the first trimester. There's a lot of back pain. I know I had a lot of back pain when I was pregnant with both boys. For whatever reason, boys give you back pain. But going to the chiropractor was very helpful for me. Pregnancy, like the actual yoga, prenatal yoga, was very important. What does that look like for you when you get pregnant? So think about that. And now we get to the childbirth aspect. And I think out of every single component of the parenthood journey, the motherhood, fatherhood journey, the childbirth aspect has been the one that has been hijacked the most. Now, when women and couples get pregnant, they are super excited, especially if you've been planning it. But then you realize, in 9 months, you're going to have pretty much the size of a watermelon in your belly, and you have to give birth. And for many, many women, that freaks you out. And when something freaks you out, you give your sovereignty away. You give your power away. And you want someone else to deal with it for you. And I'm here to tell you that to have a beautiful co-creative childbirth and to take ownership of a natural childbirth, you have to take on the responsibility of clearing the subconscious blocks in your mind about all the fears that you have around fertility. Around childbirth. Where are those fears coming from? They're coming from a movie you watched when you were 13 or 14 years old, where the woman in that movie was screaming their head off when they were having their birth. And your subconscious mind recorded that as what can happen to you during childbirth. And now you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and you're ready to give birth, and that subconscious block is still there waiting to be cleared or waiting to at least be addressed and reprogrammed. So that is a part of the process of being sovereign and taking back your power so that you can have a beautiful, wonderful birth. Now, with regards to all of these aspects of the sovereignty, what's really important about it? Why can't you just rely on science to create the baby for you and then, be pregnant or maybe have a surrogate and just do what you have to do? Well, number one, a lot of that stuff is really expensive. And it's not necessarily practical for many of us. Also, it takes away some of the spiritual aspects of the actual experience. So when you are able to procreate on a natural level through intercourse, you actually allow for a bigger part of your son or daughter's spirit and their soul to come earthside. You're actually opening up certain avenues to give them a wide slide of love to come in to this planet on. And because of that, they're able to bring more of their higher self into their being. And the beings coming to Earth right now, these spirit babies, they're huge. They're massive. And they are juicy and ready to experience things that we don't even realize. They are the builders of our next generation. So giving them that and taking back that sovereignty and making that something that you're doing on your own, that's really important. And then when it comes to childbirth, now there is 95% of the population that has a low risk birth. And there is 5% that will need medical intervention and will need a C-section. And do whatever you need to do to make sure that baby comes onto the earth in a healthy way. But I'm not talking to the 5% of pregnancies that are high risk. I'm talking to the 95% that is low risk, that is still extremely fearful about giving birth. You may not even be pregnant right now watching this video. You may still be in the conception, fertility phases. But if you are on a scale of 1 to 10, you look at how fearful you are about childbirth. If it's over 5%, then you need to do something about it. I was at a 9 out of 10 on the fear scale, and I knew I had to do something about it. And I was riddled with fear about giving birth. So I worked on it like I was in the Olympics of birth. And I was very, very blessed and happy that I found Blissborn Hypnobirthing, and it gave me that edge. I felt like I was actually studying for my childbirth experience. It wasn't just breathing, because Lamaze is good, and that's pretty much what we've had for the past 100 years, breathing techniques. But there's so much more. You can actually create a way to deal with what you call pain or discomfort. And you can also find aspects of how to minimize the time of labor that you're in with Blissborn Hypnobirthing. So a lot of those things I was able to do, and I do teach this course. It is on my website. When, when you have a healthcare practitioner, whether it is an OBGYN or midwife that doesn't really explain the childbirth process to you, and it's really more of a just show up to the hospital and we'll take care of you, you get what you get if you haven't really practiced the childbirth aspect. What I see a lot with the stories about childbirth is that they turn into traumatic births because the mother-to-be wasn't really prepared for what they were walking into. So you end up walking in expecting to be taken care of and or even to be induced, and you end up with a really painful labor and a really traumatic pregnancy, a really traumatic childbirth, and it's something that kind of lingers, and it pretty much sets you up for a really hard postpartum 4th trimester, when you should be elated and excited about what's going on with having like an actual newborn. So when you work on the actual childbirth aspects and you focus on them and you take a class like Blissborn, you take your sovereignty back, you take your power back, and you're able to walk into motherhood with that power. The power of being able to feel all the feelings and manage them during childbirth is exceptional. And I wish that for every woman that's looking to get pregnant and to actually, have an empowered birth. When I went through my birth and I saw what my body was able to do, which I was able to go through labor in 3 hours for the first son, 2 hours for the second son, and really bring it. I was able to feel the power of worlds inside of me. And that's something that over time we've been slowly giving it away with medication and epidurals, instead of taking back the natural ability that our bodies have to give birth. So think about it. You go through this awesome, inspiring natural childbirth. You do it pretty much all on your own, with your own gumption and your own strength. And then you have that baby in your arms and you have all of that motivation and, all of those abilities tapped in. So when when it's 3 a.m. and you have to wake up for a feeding, you do it because it's your responsibility. And you feel empowered to do it because you're moving into your birth, from a birth experience, a very empowered birth experience, into a very empowered motherhood experience. And that is sovereignty. So for those of you that are scared about giving birth, I get it. I was right there. And even if you're not there yet, maybe you'll be there in 5 years, 10 years from now. Start to tear down those building blocks that have been constructed in your mind and in your subconscious mind about fear in childbirth. That's what Blissborn, hypnobirthing, and the hypnobirthing classes out there will help you with. For me, I teach the Blissborn hypnobirthing class, which is a signature class, and it's been around for a while, and it really does go deeper, from what I've seen, than any other hypnobirthing class with regards to the results. The results speak for themselves. I do talk about the results on some of my other videos, so feel free to watch some of the other videos. I have them on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and a lot of posts that I talk about this. If this is something that is challenging for you, it's good to sit with it. Sit with it before you're even pregnant and really understand what's going on with the body and how the body reacts. The more oxytocin you can create in your pituitary gland, that is what's actually opening up your body like a flower in order to give birth. And fear will shut that down. And we've been programmed to be fearful during birth. So it's time for us to take our power back and take our sovereignty back. I will be talking a lot more about this on a lot more videos, but for now you can find more information on my website as well, from fertilitytodelivery.com. And I have an active class on my website for Blissborn hypnobirthing, and I'm also working on the spiritual fertility class to show you how to tap back into our God-given alignment with regards to fertility and conception and co-creating that with your spirit baby. I'm so glad you're here. Continue to come back, contact me, email me with any questions. Right now my email address is from fertilitytodelivery@gmail.com. And continue to take your power back, because it is, it's a part of being sovereign. It's a part of moving into and stepping into parenthood. And say it with me. It is up to me. It's my responsibility. Many blessings.